It's going.
It's like a standing room only crowd. I don't know how good the acoustics are, if you're going to be able to hear.
I'll step out in front here. You're going to go to speak. So.
Okay. Okay, is everybody enjoying their food? Hopefully you won't need too many tissues. I'm going to try to get through this. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. And my tissue box right here.
The trash can's beside you on the floor.
I saw a news article. Let's see if I can get this to work better. I saw a news article this past year that was impactful to me. It actually, over the course of the last few weeks, has made me upset and disappointed. On July 4th, former President Jaimie and Rosalind Carter celebrated their 73rd wedding anniversary. 73 years together. I've never been a big fan politically of President Carter, but in this instance, he and his wife have achieved something that is so out of the norm for our society today. 73 years together. A feat achieved like that in our society is worthy of honor. Rosalind actually turned him down at first. Did you know that? Jaimie did the same thing to me. She was actually interested in someone else at the time when I first met her. But I kept after her, just like Jaimie did with Rosalind. But I only got to spend 15 years with the amazing girl that I chased after. It just doesn't seem fair, and so I'm upset and I'm disappointed. Jaimie grew up in Papua New Guinea until she graduated high school. Her parents were missionaries there and managed the facilities for Wycliffe Bible translators. She would tell funny stories of her dad giving her and her sister machetes to go hack banana trees down in their backyard. Apparently, banana trees grow like weeds over there. She graduated high school in Papua New Guinea, and then her family moved back to California to the Wycliffe headquarters. Jaimie started and finished college with a degree in music education, and then she began herself to work for Wycliffe. Wycliffe Bible translators eventually moved their world headquarters to Florida, where I would eventually meet my love. In 2003, I began attending a local church in Orlando while I was attending college. They had a pretty active singles group at this church. One weekend, a singles retreat was planned for Cocoa Beach. Little did I know that Jaimie and I were both attending this singles group, but we had not yet met. She attended on days I couldn't make it, and I was there on Sunday when she played piano for a worship team at another church. But at this upcoming retreat, our paths would first cross. She would recall that she was tying her shoe, and she looked up to see this guy looking down at her. And she thought, oh great, who's this weirdo? But we hit it off that night, and we had a great introduction, and I got to walk and talk with her that night on the beach. And the chase was on. I wanted to marry this woman. Our first date was at the Cheesecake Factory. After dinner, it was time to order cheesecake, and she took her time looking over the many options and finally settled on a cherry chocolate cheesecake, I believe. I ordered the plain cheesecake. She looked at me like I was crazy. Why would you come to the Cheesecake Factory with all of their options and order a plain slice of cheesecake, she asked. Well, I said, if they make all these great cheesecakes, their original plain cheesecake ought to be pretty good. She didn't know what to do with me. Amazingly, she went out with me again. She was everything I ever wanted. She was well educated. She was amazingly talented, had a great singing voice. She had very passionate beliefs about a future role of a wife and a mother. And greater still, she knew her Bible. She knew her Bible much better than I did. She had so much scripture committed to memory. If I was going to have a family one day, I wanted that family to be centered on God, and picking a woman who loved God more than anything in the world should be my goal. And that woman was Jaimie. We had been dating for only about a month or so, and I came to see her dad one evening, and I asked for her hand in marriage. He gave me his permission, and he told me that he'd been praying for me for a long time. It's important to pray for children's spouses now while they're young. A short time later, I proposed to her on a beach in Key West, and soon after we were married. What did she like? Her favorite entree is salmon. She loves Asian food, particularly Thai, especially Thai. She loves Havarti cheese. Her favorite wine is Sauvignon Blanc. She loves reading and looking at old books. She could spend hours in a bookstore, hours. She loves reading. She loves doing cross-stitch. I have over a dozen of her cross-stitch projects hanging around the house. She loves journaling. There's a journaling craze going on right now. If you know about that, she was into it. She loves singing old hymns. She loves cooking for her family. Her favorite cooking ingredients are garlic, onion, basil, and cilantro. Her favorite flower was daisies. She loves daisies. She loves being a mom, and she loves being a wife. She loves musicals. A couple nights before she lost total consciousness, I was thinking of ways to get her mind off the pain. Bed sores were starting to form, and she was very uncomfortable. I began playing music to some of her favorite musicals. She could no longer open her eyes, but her ears perked up and her face changed when I started playing songs from Sound of Music. That was her favorite. Her favorite musical was Sound of Music. I played a few different songs from her favorite musical films, and finally, I played the song from Fiddler on the Roof. Do you love me? It's a song with a husband who, in 25 years of marriage, has never exchanged the words "I love you" with his wife. And so he asked, do you love me? Jaimie and I were always verbal about our love for each other. She loved this song. The final verse goes like this. It doesn't change a thing, but even so, after 25 years, it's nice to know. I saw, and at that, she smiled. As best as she could with closed eyes, she smiled. It was the most tender experience I've ever had with my wife. She made a lot of videos about cooking and homeschooling. She impacted thousands of people from whom she never met. She shared her own stories of success and failure on her homestead. Because of that, her children will never forget who their mama was. Her grandchildren will be able to hear her voice and see her doing the things that she loves doing. We got the call on February 1st of this year. Cancer. 4 times in the Bible, Paul refers to living life as running a race. How will you run your race? You can't win the race. Society has already accomplished that feat. But you can cross the finish line. Jaimie praised the Father in her diagnosis. She praised him after each of her 5 surgeries. She praised him during 6 weeks of radiation treatments. She praised him throughout all of her alternative treatments. She praised him at the vitamin C clinic to strangers that she had never met. She praised him online to our website patrons who prayed for her healing. She praised him to our sons who didn't understand what was happening to their world. She praised him with song. She praised him with her voice. And when she lost her ability to speak, she praised him with her thumbs tapping on her phone. She ran and she finished the race. And on that day of trumpets, she will rise up and she will praise him yet again. That's all. Thank you.
During the last couple of weeks, people have been asking us, how you doing? And I started out by saying fine, but then I realized that wasn't really true. And I thought the song that Jaimie liked the best, her favorite song, was "It Is Well With My Soul." And that's what I want to say. If you know the words, please sing along. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my life has taught me to say, it is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when my faith shall be sight, the clouds be rolled back as a scroll, and the Lord, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
So Jaimie was born August 16, 1977. In fact, that was the day that Elvis Presley died. I suppose you know who Elvis Presley is. Okay. Yeah, she was born in Pasadena, California. And we lived in Monrovia after she was born, for about 8 years. But when she was 6, she came to me one day. She says, "Dad, I want to ask Jesus into my heart." So we prayed together. But she's always had a heart for the Lord. And it was in 1985 that we decided to move to Papua New Guinea. And she went through elementary and junior high and high school and graduated there. During those years, she loved to read and she loved music. And there were some nights there in our mission center at Ukarumpa, we had a teen center. And every Friday night, all the teens would go and have fun together. Not Jaimie, she didn't want to go. She'd rather stay home and read. We had to encourage her to get out and be with her friends. And Zach talked a number of things about what she liked. There's one thing she did not like, and that was sports. It held no interest to her in the least. In high school, they had what they called a sports day, where it's kind of like events. And all the students had to participate in sports day. And Jaimie just hated it. It was her least favorite day of the whole year, and having to go out and run and participate in sports. I remember at one point, years later, I'm told she went to a Cardinals baseball game, and she took a magazine with her just to keep herself occupied while they're playing baseball. But that's the one thing she didn't like. She sang in her high school choir, and she traveled up and down the Highlands Highway singing at churches and mission centers and interacting with the people there. A lot of national churches they would sing at. And she graduated in 1995, and we moved back to California. And she enrolled at Westmont College and majoring in music. And we'd see her quite often during school breaks. We'd drive up and get her and bring her back from Santa Barbara. And she graduated cum laude. You know, she was really smart. Don't know where she got it. She's a whole lot smarter than Joanne. But after graduation, we all moved to Orlando, and she continued working for Wycliffe for yet a number of years. And as Zach said, that's where. But as I look back over the years, we've had some great experiences. With her college choir, she sang at the Air Force Academy as well as other places. We've gone shopping in Singapore, and we've seen the Merlion in Singapore Harbor. You can Google that if you don't know what that is. We've enjoyed Thai cuisine in Bangkok, and we went swimming on the Great Barrier Reef. And I tell you, we did it in the middle of winter. It was July. That water was so cold, but we did it. Jaimie got out of the water, her lips were just blue because it was just so cold. And we climbed the Eiffel Tower, and we've seen the Mona Lisa in the Louvre. There's just so many things like that that we can remember. I remember an old Baptist preacher once said that when somebody passes away, there's three things that person has to leave behind. It's a good name, good memories, and a good forwarding address. You know, and those who believe in Yeshua, in his commands, we know where we're going to find her someday.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start for you to come up and share that with everyone else. If you don't, that's okay too. You just want to write out those cards. There's cards on the tables. If you can't find one, there's cards over here where you can share a memory. And again, if you weren't here earlier when I made that announcement, we're going to save those for the kids. So one day they can go through and they can read about the memories that people had of their mother. So I urge you, if you have a memory, a good memory of Jaimie, and you know, maybe how you met or something, to share that with us. We really love that. So thank you guys. Thank you. Also, there's a guest login book. If you're here, not just a memory card, please sign the guest book. I really appreciate that as well. Thank you. Can't take him anywhere.
I'd like to share a few things. I'm not going to talk about Jaimie alone, but back. When we first met them, I wasn't really much into Torah much, but my wife wanted to come and have a Sukkot, and so she contacted the Bowers and the Looters, and they were full up, but they had a cancellation. And my parents and my wife's parents were with Wycliffe as well, so I think that's why they called us and told us we could come. So we came up for a Sukkot, and I really had some questions for Zach that I wanted to talk to him about, and we just have been blessed to know the Bowers. We ended up, Zach answered a lot of my questions, and we were able to have Sukkot with them, and then when we decided to come over here, we're from North Carolina to look for property, and we ended up finding a piece right next door to the Bowers. And so we live right across the street, and we're just blessed to be their neighbors. We appreciate the Bowers and the Looters so much, and their boys, they come down almost every day to play with some of our boys. And Zach, we're blessed to know your family, and I just thank you very much. Thank you.
One thing that stands out to me about Jaimie that I always remember is that her house was always spotless. And it didn't matter if it was Sukkot or some random day during the week, it was always spotless. And that always stood out to me and has been a challenge to me. I remember one day she had me up and showed me how to make cheese. And that was really cool. So that's my 2 cents.
Oh, sorry.
We're the Hudson ladies, some of them, and we're going to sing a song for you that kind of ministered to us this week. So hopefully it'll minister to you. How deep the Father's love for us, how vast chin upon his shoulders. Ashamed, I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held him there, until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is finished. I will not boast in anything. No gifts, no power, no wisdom. But I will boast in Jesus Christ, His death and resurrection. Why should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart: His wounds have paid my ransom. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious is that grace appeared, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And the good God, His mercy reigns. Unerring love, amazing grace. When we lived there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we know that saints to sing God's praise. And when we
Oh, one thing I wanted to share about Jaimie too. I didn't get to know her very well, but one thing that really stood out to me was her caringness. Just how she cared for other people. I was gonna have a minor surgery, and she was asking how I was doing in the midst of everything she was going through, and it just really. She was great.
Jaimie was one of those people that no matter, she liked to kind of be, she was kind of a quiet person that liked to be at home and not bothered a lot, but whenever you came to the door, she was ready to talk to you no matter what. She was such a blessing. And the looters have been also. And I just want to tell you that no matter what they've gone through this year, they were always constantly teaching us from what they've learned spiritually, all along the way. Right after she passed away, I was up there talking with the looters, and Mr. Looter said something absolutely profound. And I don't even know if he thought it was profound, but he was saying all these prayers that everybody's been praying, and she passed away. He said, I don't know if those prayers did anything, but it might have maybe changed the people who were praying. And I think we miss that a lot, that when we're praying, God wants to change us, because prayer is talking with God, and it's a communication back and forth. And Mr. Lewis, that was absolutely profound, and thank you.
For those watching the live stream, this writing right here on this frame, that is actually Jaimie's handwriting. That's something she wrote in the journal. And one of the neighbors has a CNC machine where he was able to laser cut that into this frame. He made this frame. You want to say anything to the live audience?
Oh, do I want to say anything to the live audience?
Yeah.
We're
We're coming up on an hour, so I don't know if you want to keep going.
No,
or-
we'll end it. I mean, people are starting to leave, but thanks everyone out there for praying for us. There's been so many people. I don't know if they'll be able to hear me that far away.
Okay.
I don't know if there's been. It's okay. It's close-ups are good. So many people have been praying for us and praying for my family. Thank you. I've gotten lots of cards in the mail. I'm going to do a Jaimie tribute video coming up this next week, and so stay tuned for that. I just want to talk a little bit more about some of the pictures that you've probably seen in the background. Just give her some more of her likes and dislikes of things that she enjoyed. So we'll do that coming up in the next week. But just thanks everyone for praying for our family and keeping us in your prayers. It really does make a difference, and we can feel that prayer. So that's it. Love you guys.